Hello and welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to utilize and leverage gradients in both product and portrait photography. Before I jump into the tutorial, I'll be going through all the different types of gradients that Photoshop offers, the different effects you can achieve with them, and then I'll ultimately walk through step by step on how to remove a plain white background and add an exciting gradient to your photo so it'll stand out against competitors. So let's jump into the video. Alright, before we jump into the tutorial, I wanted to walk through a few reasons why I like the gradient. The first image is the original image. The background is nice, but it's pink and doesn't have much dimension. I removed the background and added a peachy toned over to an orange toned, so it adds some dimension and draws your eye a little bit more into the photo. The second example shows you something more moody. It has a darker background, which really emphasizes the product. And the last one has more of an artistic approach. There's a lined version of the gradient, which is called the angle gradient, and it creates these nice shapes throughout the image, giving you a really direct movement point in the actual image. Now I wanted to walk through the different types of gradients that you can utilize in Photoshop. The first one is a linear, so it's a solid, seamless gradient that goes from one color to another color. The radial, which is a circle and emphasizes something in the middle and then fades out on the edges. The angle, like I mentioned in the last example, there's a harsh line and then it's soft around it. The reflected has more of a focused energy in the middle and then fades out on the edges. And the diamond looks like a diamond. So these are the 5 different versions that you can use in the gradients from Photoshop. Alright, now that I've walked through the different reasons why the gradient tool is so nice, I'll show you actually how to use it. So go over to your toolbar or press the G, and it's going to default to the paint bucket. I'll right click and select the gradient tool. Once I've selected that, I'm going to choose the type of gradient that I'm going to be using. For this example, I'll be using the radial gradient because it gives you some very obvious examples of the gradient. The next thing that you're going to do is click the little colors up here and choose the specific color that you want. For this example, I'll be using something with a lot of colors to give you that real idea of what the radial gradient looks like. Once you have it selected, you're going to go to your canvas, hold down, and drag. The further you drag, the softer your gradient is going to be. The closer your gradient is, the harsher the lines are going to be. So that is an example of the radial gradient with this kind of rainbow color scheme. So now I've shown you how to find the gradient tool and how to use it. Now I want to show you actually how to use the gradient to make your product photos stand out more. So get an image. It doesn't matter if the background is super busy or if it's a white background like this. You're going to click Remove Background here. Once the background has been removed, you're going to create a new layer mask down here and drag that new layer below the original image. Now we're going to go to our gradient tool, and for this example, I'm going to use the linear gradient, and I'm going to use something green because I'm noticing that green right here. So let's do this gradient. Now make sure your layer underneath your primary photo is selected. Click down and drag up. You can adjust the intensity of the gradient by making it more focused with that line shorter, or making it more soft by pulling it up further like this. And let's try that again, but with a different... Alright, I'm going to do a different variation of the gradient just so you can get an idea of how you can play around and get artistic. So I'm going to create another layer, drag it below my primary photo. I'm going to select an iridescent color. This time I'm going to select the radial gradient. I'll click somewhere in the middle and I'll drag it. And as you can see, that's a different variation of the gradient. And this pink makes this green pop really nicely. If you're in need of professional photo editing, check the link in the bio. Clipping Path Studio has a group of incredibly talented photo editors ready to help. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and we'll definitely respond. Thanks for watching.